Do you find yourself over 50 and regretting chasing material riches at the expense of family? Do you believe it's never too late, or have you given up? Maybe Joe's story will inspire you and give you hope. After having it all, millionaire lifestyle, all the toys men dream of, Joe still felt unfulfilled. Joe prayed for God to shake it up, to light the path for his purpose. Well, be careful what you pray for, right? Well, bankruptcy and divorce certainly wasn't Joe's plan. In hindsight, it was God's. Joe found himself 50, divorced, bankrupt, and homeless. Little did he know his best years lay ahead. Well, fast forward 5 years, Joe is happily married to his beautiful soulmate Anna, lives the traveling nomad capitalist lifestyle, and his lifelong dream of being a dad has come true. Twice, with 2 darling daughters, and another on the way. Did you know exhaustive research has proven that regret is what we feel most on our deathbed? Well, if you find Joe's story hits a nerve for you now, Joe asks you to trust him just enough to hear his inspiring true life story. Joe promises to light the path for you to find your soulmate and start your family, even if you're over 50.
Welcome to another episode coming at you from chooseyourrelationships.com, author of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on amazon.com. So today I have another special guest. I know I always say this all the time, but today I truly have a special guest, and his name is Joe Rickards. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, good to be here. Thanks very much, Lopez. It's my honor. And you know, your podcast, Love Can't Wait, I couldn't agree with you more. So I'm a bit nervous. I gotta kind of come clean with you guys out of the gate. And the reason is, I would say less than 5 people on the planet have heard what I'm about to say in this live stream. It's kind of been my deep, dark secret that I've kept under wraps till now, because frankly speaking, it is not good for the ego. I got to swallow my pride, swallow my ego. It was the hardest time, one of the hardest times in life that I endured, and have gratefully come out the other end of it. And I would like to share my story with you today in hopes that it will resonate with some of you guys, and hopefully help you. So let's get the road on the show, shall we? So I just want to ask you guys, how many of you guys, if you're going to be honest with yourself, you would like to make more money in your life? Put up your hand or think about it if it's true for you. What about love? Put up your hand if you want more love in your life. And now let me ask you, how many of you guys put up your hand when you think, listen, I don't want to be filled with regret when I check out of this world? If that's you, please put up your hand, either in your mind or out loud. If you answered yes, then I promise you in my talk today, we're going to get profound. There's going to be some takeaways that hit you to the core, because we're gonna go deep. We're going to slap on that goggles and hard hat and the oxygen, and we're going to jump out of the plane at 30,000 feet, if you will. Now, I just wanted to say, if this is already resonating with you, put up your hand and your other hand, give yourself a high five. And when you high five yourself, say this to yourself: I'm never, ever going to give up on my dreams. Because that's at the end of the day when we're truly dead, when we have no hope and no dreams. And there's lots of science behind that. It says that that's when people die, very soon after retirement, when they have no purpose, no hope, and no dreams. So thank you for your time. I know you have a busy schedule, and I appreciate you being here to listen to me today. My name is Joe Rickards, and I'd like to welcome you to my talk today, which I've entitled, I could have called it many different things. I thought of calling it Unanswered Prayers. But at the end of the day, I'm calling it Dads Wanted. In a moment, you'll understand why. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little bit of my life's backstory in video form. It's just a minute long, and I'll be right back with you.
Straight out of university with a $40,000 student loan hanging over his head and only $300 in his wallet, Joe bought his first investment property and went on to build his real estate portfolio over the next 2 decades. Although Joe became a self-made millionaire in his late 20s, he didn't have an easy start. Joe was raised in a dysfunctional family in a remote farming town on the Canadian prairies and lost his mother to cancer at a young age. Driven by his battered self-esteem, he graduated at the top of his engineering class and climbed the corporate ladder at leading Fortune 500 companies for the next 13 years. But Joe realized that engineering wasn't his passion, and he dreaded going to work every day. Then came that fateful day. Joe was rushing home for Christmas in a blinding snowstorm when he lost control of his car and was catapulted over a cliff. In the ambulance, Joe's life flashed before his eyes in slow motion as he asked himself the 3 questions that would become the foundation of his new life. Did I really live enough? Did I really love enough? Did I really make a difference? Looking ahead, Joe saw a clear fork in the road of his life. This time, he would follow his heart and his true passion, helping kids in poverty. So he quit his successful engineering career, took 3 years off, and set out to travel the world and make a difference.
Man,
Hey guys, welcome back. So, what are you going to get out of today's talk? This is what I'm hoping for you guys. Really, like I said, we're going to go deep. And the big question today is we're going to talk about regret. We're going to talk about, what do you really want in your life? And I hope to really give you some questions that will make you think long and hard about your life and ask yourself some tough questions. Because have you heard this? The quality of our life depends on the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. It's very true. Also, in my talk today, I'm endeavoring to share with you a lost world of traditional women where family is still the backbone of society, where women still embrace their true feminine nature and embrace the man being the head and the leader of the family. And I'm going to share with you how you can find a traditional wife and start your family, even if you're over 50, like me. So that's where we're going. I hope you enjoy the ride. Like I said, I went from having it all, you saw a little bit of my lifestyle, and I thought I had arrived, and looking back, hindsight is 2020, as they say, right? Not even close. So I went from multimillionaire to divorcing, and bankruptcy at the same time, interestingly enough, and then homeless at age 50. Man, that was the lowest point in my life. I just, when I tried to sleep at nights, I would look at the ceiling. I couldn't sleep. I had to take sleeping medication. Can any of you guys relate? Ever been really so low in your life you don't know which way to turn, which way is up? Well, I invite you to make a highly interactive talk here, right? Please write in comments about your life experiences if you can relate. Ask me any questions. We're going to have a live dialogue with Lopez here. Please feel free to ask me any questions. No taboo questions, okay? Sometimes the hardest questions to ask are what we need to hear most, So, who's a country fan? Any country fans out there? You know the song Unanswered Prayers with Garth Brooks? Well, looking back, that was one of the biggest epiphanies of my life. The song goes, for you guys that don't remember the lyrics, I thank God for unanswered prayers. Remember when you're talking to the man upstairs, that just because he doesn't answer doesn't mean he don't care, because some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. And in hindsight, looking back, all that shit that happened to me, bankruptcy, divorce, homelessness, at 50, guess what? It was God's way of shaking me up, shaking me out of my comfort zone, telling me, buddy, this ain't it. Yeah, you aimed at the wrong target of life. Yeah, money's not where it's at. Material wealth, dude. Hey, wake up, brother. It's not too late. You got another half century ahead of you. And
geez, did I see that when I was in the eye of the storm? Fuck no. Oh my God. I was like, shoot me now, put me out of my misery. You know, the houses are gone, the cars, the bikes, the boats, you know, everything gone. The wife, at the time, the love of my life, gone. At the end of the day, safety and security is the number one need of every woman, and every guy really got to know that.
Yeah.
Hey, Lopez.
How did you recover and not be bitter after the first marriage?
Great question. Great question. I was bitter. I was angry so without getting into too much detail, basically, I had $1 million stolen from me. And that made me angry, bitter. It caused the domino effect of me losing everything. And I was angry. I was bitter. I went through this tumultuous tornado of emotions, and and feeling shame and guilt, and just bitterness and anger. And that went on for about a year before I managed to pull myself out of that. And it was my belief that I kept asking myself when I was in the eye of the storm, Joe, there's got to be a deeper meaning to this. There's got to be a lesson in this for me. And that's what I kept asking myself over and over. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have the foggiest. But because I kept praying about it and asking God, what are you trying to tell me? Teach me here, please, brother. And in time, so he led me to forgive. So I had to first get over the anger, then I had to forgive, then I had to let go. And then I had to look to the future and say, okay, what do I really want? What are my dreams? And the answer was, and I might lose it, the answer was I had always wanted to be a dad. From my early 20s, I was always looking for my bride to start a family. And I'm, as you can imagine, as you can gather, I'm a Christian man. And it just, I couldn't find her. And so I got married, and then we couldn't have kids.
Oh.
And, and that didn't end the marriage. But, add that to bankruptcy. And then when they repossess your home, it's not good for marriage, right? And I said to myself, wow, my big dream in this life is to have children. That's what I'm missing. I had all my friends were married, and they all told me, Joe, when your son or daughter, joins this world and you hold it for the first time in your arms, there's nothing in this life better than that. Like, if you don't experience that, you're going to have regrets. And I had some deep conversation with friends. So I set my sights on that goal. So bankrupt, divorced, and homeless. And that was my goal. So obviously I had to rebuild, because homelessness doesn't bode well with attracting a woman, hey, Lopez? No. A good woman. And I had to rebuild, remake myself. And so I asked myself, what's my passion? What's my purpose? Up till then, I had the real estate investment bug. Man, I loved the deals, and I just went after deal after deal. But the thing is, I lost touch of what's important in life. I really lost. I just went after the almighty dollar, and 1 million, another, and it's just like, that's the focus. It's just bucks, right, and deals. And life passes you by. I'm here to share with you, at 57, it just goes like that. And so basically how my story goes is I was invited to a wedding in Ukraine. So it's my best friend's wife. Her sister got married in Sumy, Ukraine. And she said, Joe, you're divorced now. You got to get back on the horse, get out there. Why don't you go to this wedding in Ukraine? I thought, Ukraine, where's that? Next thing you knew, I got my ass on a plane. I just had enough money to, to get there. And well, I had a few bucks. At that point, I had saved up enough, But yeah, the long story short is I went to the wedding. I fell in love with the people of Ukraine and the culture, and of course the beautiful women. They are the most beautiful women in the planet Earth, by my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
And so I got to see that firsthand. And yeah, I dated for a while, and I can share with you guys that it's like you might as well go to Mars. It's that different, And I had met some expat buddies there, and they tried teaching me, the women are different here. They're still family oriented. They want love and marriage and family. They don't want to play around and play mind games and date and so it's a different world. They don't want that. They're looking for a steady, stable man that they can trust, who will be faithful, that they can build a family with. And I went, wow, really? Wow, that's wild. And so I lived in Ukraine and got to see firsthand that was true. That was true. And then I met sometime later, living in Ukraine, I met my wife, Anna, who you saw in the intro video there. And yeah, now we have 2 children, a 4-year-old, 10-year-old, and another one on the way. So
congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So hey, when you went broke,
yeah,
did you have anybody to reach out to and say, hey man, I'm going through some hard times, I need a favor? Did you have anybody to reach out to like that?
Yeah, I have, like I said at the intro, probably, I'm going to guess 5 of my closest friends and family know my bankruptcy story. Because when you lose it all, it's just such a big dent to your ego. So I went into fake it till you make it mode, because I still felt like a multimillionaire. I didn't change my mindset and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a handful of friends that I shared it with, and family members that I shared it with.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, big lesson there too, because when you're used to living the high life, you find out these friends gone like Hank Snow. It's like, hey, I thought we were friends. Guess what? Yeah, not really.
I've been there.
Yeah, fair weather friends. Yeah,
I ended up on my friend's couch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I ended up when I say I was homeless. It was on my nephew's couch, actually.
Yeah, I've been there, man. The people that you were spending all this time with, you call you home, hey man, y'all having some hard times, man. I need a favor, a couple dollars here and there. I don't know, man. I'll call you back.
Yeah.
So those people, I cut them off.
Yeah.
I learned a valuable lesson. And
yeah.
I learned, man, that when I was making pretty good money, man. I'm making maybe at the time $10,000 a month for like 3 years, but I blew it all, doing partying and traveling and but I wasn't happy though. That's the thing. The only thing that made me happy, I figured out after all that time of going through all the trials and tribulations, the only thing that made me happy was the relationships I had. That's it.
That's it. At the end of the day, it's relationships and love.
That's it.
That's it. That's what life boils down to. That's what happiness is composed of. That's what we're all in the pursuit of in this world is happiness, right? But what the heck is happiness, right? It's like the question.
It's whatever you want it to be.
It's whatever makes you happy. So you got to figure that out, right?
Yeah. No, because I don't know about you, but my family was blue collar. My dad worked at the power plant. My mom she worked at home. My dad, he made good money, working at the power plant at the time. He took care of everything, basically. But we weren't rich. We weren't well off, So nobody ever taught me about money growing up. I didn't.
Absolutely.
I mean, I went in the Navy like 2 years later after high school, and I met people in the Navy, and they said they were at this business on the side. Some say they had properties they own or whatever, but I didn't know any of that. No, I didn't know anybody around me that said, "Hey, I got a business, I own property." Nobody, you know. So I had to figure all this stuff out when I got out the Navy, you know.
I can relate to you, Lopez. I grew up blue collar redneck, redneck, where we hunted what we ate because we didn't have the money for beef or chicken or poultry or whatever. I wore hand-me-down clothes. First pair of my own jeans was when I was 10. First time to the dentist was age 10 in Mexico, where we are now in Cancun, Mexico. Yeah, with 10 fillings at age 11, 12. My old man had no idea about money. I mean, we had a good farming life in terms of, you know, but the money thing, and that's kind of what kicked me off, because when I got out of university, I said, listen, I'm going to be different. It's going to be different. But the pendulum swung too much the other way in hindsight, you know. Then I set my sights on billionairehood. So that was, I say, God shook me up, because I'm very thankful I never made it near billionairehood, because I just, not that that's always a bad thing. I'm not saying that. And I'm certainly not saying money is a bad thing, but the love of money is a bad thing for me. Yeah, it took me off.
Yeah, you know, it's like,
I can relate.
Yeah, you know, you just don't. A lot of people think, just like I did, hey, if I get the money, you know, I'll be happy, and the money will take care of everything. But no, money only go but so far. You know, I mean, at some point, it's going to be on you. It's going to be on the relationships you have, your friends, your family. You know, because I always say, if you focus just on the money, you're going to lose everything. You won't have no friends. You might not have no family. And you might have bad health.
Absolutely. I mean, money is, in its simplest form, is energy.
Yeah.
And when there's a change of money, there's a change of energy. It's all about, what did you do to earn that money? This is the question. Yeah. Was it your passion? Was it helping people? Because money is just a byproduct. When you earn it the right way, that is, it's just a byproduct of helping people. The more people you help, the more money you make. Yeah. That's what I learned a little bit the hard way. So if I can just share kind of the next segment of my life, and why, you know, and how being a dad has been for me, and really the message for our viewers today that that's closest to my heart, I'll put it this way, is if you happen to be a guy over 50 like I was, and you felt you missed out on family because you focused on making a living and getting ahead in life, and, you know, career advancement, and you're looking back and you're 50 plus and you're going, man, I missed out. If that's you, if you're listening right now, I have the biggest message for you, that it's not too late. Of course, you have to believe that for yourself. And I can say, in Canada, where I'm from, in America, in the West, that window of fatherhood at 50, it's pretty much closed. I mean, you might get lucky, you know, but in Ukraine, and God bless the people of Ukraine enduring this horrific, you know, war that they're enduring right now. But before the war, during the war, it's changed, but it's still the same, in that there is a lot of single women in Ukraine, single moms in Ukraine, that are looking for a good man. And there's a big gender imbalance, about 10 million, if you can believe it, more women than men between Ukraine and Russia. We'll leave Russia aside for now. But there is a lost world out there, that if you figure you missed the mark in life and there's no chance for you anymore, I'm here to share my story, to tell you that there is opportunity for you to become a dad, whether it's to marry a single mom and be a father, if you have that in your heart, to love the child of another father, and possibly to have your own, So I want to invite you, if you want to know more about that, you're welcome to go to our agency site, which is called Match Guarantee, spelled with a Y.com. And there you can have a free consultation with myself, my wife, or one of our other matchmakers, and get all your questions answered. You can meet some of our ladies and even have a video call with them with a translator on to see what is possible for you. And you will be pleasantly surprised. I promise you that. So you're welcome to do that at any time. Matchguarantee.com/register. Thanks for putting that up, Lopez. And we'd love to hear your story, what you're looking for, and we promise you this, to give our honest assessment of whether we think you can be successful in Ukraine and what your options are. Okay. So, is there any questions in the house, Lopez? Any questions? Because we are live. We are live on what? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, I'm putting the link in here.
Okay, great. The other thing I just wanted to share is that what kind of scientific groundbreaking work that we've done at Match Guarantee that I'm really, really stoked about is that we have identified that finding your soulmate can be approached in a scientific manner. Of course, it's random. I mean, how are you going to find your soulmate? Let's face it, in life, there's apps and websites and all that. But how do you really know? I mean, how can you stack the deck for your success when you're looking for your soulmate? Well, what we found is that there is a love code. Like we all have a fingerprint and we're unique. There's a love code that we all have. And you need to find somebody with the same or very similar love code to yours. So I invite you also go to lovecode.info. That's our baby. And in less than 2 minutes, you can discover your love code. And when you send your loved ones there to get their love code, you can understand what is love to them. So it makes it really easy. We've done it with all our children. Of course, I know my wife's love code. I know our girls' love code. And now you can understand what is love to them much, much easier. It's like amazing. So lovecode.info, and get your loved ones, your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, your children. It works for everybody that you care about. It gives you deep insights as to what you need to do for them to feel love. And if you're looking for your soulmate, that you will have the first 2 letters of love, L-O-V-E, or bank. You'll see when you go to the site. And it only takes 2 minutes. So how are we doing for questions, Lopez? Technology, huh?
I got somebody come on. Yo.
Hello.
Yeah. You know I'm always bothering you.
What's on your mind?
Good afternoon.
Hey, brother.
You got me. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
No, I don't match with anybody, so I wouldn't be able to use your service. But I mean, what exactly? I know some people would be uncomfortable being with a Ukrainian person because people are saying that you're just preying on them or anything. Because that's the stigma that people are getting right now.
Yeah, since the onset of the war, that stigma is definitely out there.
Right.
But the reality is, I can tell you firsthand, because this is our passion, both my wife and I. We love making couples. We have over 700 marriages. We have the #1 marriage success rate in the world. You can Google us, Match Guarantee Reviews. We have 107 client videos on YouTube. So, you can't hide in today's world from the truth online.
No,
so you can see, and you can watch our videos. We go live. We publish like 4 or 5 videos a week. And anybody that just follows us can understand what we're made of. Because really, at the end of the day, you really, it's incumbent upon a person, whatever it is, to check out who you're working with. Whatever it is in business or personal, you better understand who's ever's helping you. That's first. That's first. So, so the reality of matchmaking now in Ukraine is that our ladies, for example, about 80% have fled Ukraine. So they are refugees, mostly in Europe, some in Canada, some in the States. But you can imagine, everything has been stripped from them. Their country, their home, their house. They've left men behind. So brothers, fathers, because they're left 18 to 60 to fight in the war. They can't leave Ukraine by law. And so they're sitting as a refugee in, let's say, Poland. About half are in Poland right now. And what we're talking about hope in this live stream, right? What do they have to hope for their future? What do they have? Well, they're registered with us because they want to start their family. They want to meet their man. They don't know where it is. They're open to another country. They have not been successful meeting a Ukrainian man thus far. And so they're just looking for love. So the only thing they have left to grab onto for hope is love and family. So how is that doing them a disservice? You know?
I mean, I guess in that sense, I would understand. But most of male Americans in the United States, you know, that are looking for that type of thing, or looking for someone who's educated to work with you, you know, making a home, are making between $40,000 or $50,000, and some of them are making $75,000 here, and they're not even being looked at. Even if they're everything else is positive about them. How would that look upon them if, because at that time or at that amount of money, you can barely even afford a home if you could, or businesses to build yourself up?
It's a great question. You got great questions.
Because that's what I want to do, is build residual income, help take care of myself, so that I can just move on.
Yeah. Great question. Absolutely. I mean, men are the providers. Certainly in Ukraine, it's a traditional culture. In Ukraine, still the man is the provider. The woman has her, you know, traditional family roles, and they enjoy that. They like that. They like the man to be the breadwinner. You know, so it's many facets to answer your question, but I think I'll approach it from the point that, and I don't want to slam any type of people anywhere really, but in the West, I find, I've lived in Ukraine for 6 years. So Putin kicked us out. We lived on the Black Sea, right across from Snake Island, where the Ukrainian soldiers flipped the bird to the Russian frigate. Yeah. So
I love that.
Putin almost dropped a bomb on our house, and we said, "Hey, time to get out of Dodge." So I experienced the culture for 6 years, you know, and I can tell you firsthand, Ukrainian people, they used to a more simplistic lifestyle. For example, on the weekends, what do we do in the West? Well, a lot of people do a lot of different things, but usually it takes a lot of smackaroos.
Yeah,
it's expensive. But guess what? In Ukraine, they have a shishlik, which is a barbecue, and it's literally $15. You buy chicken, and they buy beer and vodka, and then the family comes out, and for like 10 people, it's $15. And you see what I mean? So they have a very simplistic, family-oriented life still. It's like going back in time 50 years, like your parents or maybe your great-grandparents. That's the life over there still. So what I'm saying is, the women over there, their expectations are simpler. They're not so focused on monetary, you know, on material things. It's more simplistic. So what does that mean for a man who's the breadwinner? It means that it's they don't look for a rich man. You don't need to be rich to attract the Ukrainian woman. Now you need to be stable and provide security, because that's the number one need, definitely, of every Ukrainian woman, is safety and security. But you don't need to be rich. You don't need to be rich. Does that answer part of your question? Is there another angle Like you did?
No, because I think you also addressed the thing about entertainment and things like that. Because, like, say for instance, my family, they're still historically like the old days. So having fun is sitting in the backyard with a barbecue, drinking and talking about, you know, science, anything that, basically, why are you even talking about that? News, everything,
Yeah.
like the whole Ukrainian thing where Russia says they're saving Ukraine and bomb the shit out of everything. What are you saving? Anyway, um,
Can I ask you a question?
what's that?
You said you're off the market. Why is that?
Uh, I'm just not ready for any of that, and I'm just staying. I just want to be pretty much by myself to let myself grow a little bit more.
Okay, fair enough.
And plus, I want more money to come in, so I'm trying to find every way I can to make sure that I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I understand. To answer the other second part of your question, our clients, we have clients that are $50,000 a year truck drivers. For example, William married Lilia. He lives in by Cape Canaveral. He's owner operator, makes 55,000 a year.
Right.
So just to give you an idea, we have clients, but I would say that's about the bottom would be 50,000, and
Right.
then it would be probably 50 to 100 in income would be
Right.
our average client. Yeah.
hmm what else is it? Because it, how do I put it? Because in the United States, it seems like that everybody says you will marry somebody from overseas, and then they'll leave and get with someone else, and that seems to be the real one of the real problems as well.
That is another fantastic question. I'm glad you
hmm
asked that.
hmm
That is the man. And absolutely, that is a risk. I'll never blow smoke up anybody's ass. I'm a straight
hmm
shooter to a fault. That is the man that's punching way far above his weight. So he goes to Ukraine. He's an older gentleman, maybe,
I
but
never understand that.
he's choosing a lady that's too young for him, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 20, 25 years younger, and he can't hold on to her. He
No.
can't. So she comes to America, and then she gets hit on by guys that are so much higher SMV, sexual market
Mm.
value, than him. So, you
Kevin
know,
Samuels.
yeah, yeah. So it's incumbent upon every man to choose a woman that he can keep. He can
Right.
keep happy, and he can
Right.
keep. That's not
Right.
going to be wandering eyes when a lot of men are hitting on it. Because in Ukraine, it's a totally different. Really, you got to go live there for some time. It's a different planet. It
hmm
really is. Uh, Guys are not hitting on them there. It's the problem in the West: oversupply of men, undersupply of, let's call it women that men are interested in. Okay, let's
Right.
be
Right.
politically correct. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's an undersupply over that. In Ukraine, it's the opposite problem. There's an oversupply of beautiful women in their 30s, let's say, single,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an undersupply of quality marriage material men.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind of the opposite situation socially.
Right. Uh, man, I had some. But what
But
if
let me
somebody
let,
wants some?
let
Go
me
ahead.
let me let me finish to answer your question.
Mm.
If you do choose woman, let's say 10-year age gap, that's very normal. Okay,
Mm.
it's very normal. And yes, she's going to be more beautiful than you could probably catch in America or Canada or
Mm.
in the West. And
Right.
she's 10 years younger than you. And you bring her to America, you have less chance of getting divorced because divorce has been shunned on forever in Ukraine, in the former USSR. There used to be a huge stigma to being divorced. Now it's becoming less and less as time moves on, but
hmm
still, it's something that's socially still shunned upon. So they want to hold on to their family. They go the extra mile to make sure their man is happy and he's taken care of. They want to keep the family unit together. They don't want divorce. It's what I'm saying is there's a lot more value put on that family unit in a Ukraine family than in a Western family. This is my experience anyway. So,
Right.
in my fervent opinion, if you marry a Ukrainian woman, as long as it's within reason, in kind of in your league that's doable for you, and you're smart about it, who you choose, you bring her to Ukraine, you have less chance of being divorced and much better chance of till death do you part.
Right. But like me, say for instance, this is my self attribute. I like highly intelligent women. I do. I'm an oddity. I do like that. I don't know. It's because I had a highly successful mother, and I had both of my parents in the same home. I adore a woman's intelligence. It makes me want them more. Kindness and intelligence. If you have those two things, you've got. Well, there's two other things, but that, like I said, that's another thing I'm off the market for. That ain't happening. But I'm just saying, let's say for instance, you're not even close to her education. What's the possibility of that for any man?
So just so I understand you clearly, you're worried about you being less educated than her?
Right.
Okay, because Ukraine is one of the highest educated countries in the world. I think it's
I know.
number one. Yeah,
Yep.
you know that. So most people have a bachelor or a master, and the 1,300 ladies in our database, we have a lot of master's degrees, PhDs. We have university professors, just lots of business owners. It's kind of a higher socioeconomic class of lady in our database.
Right.
But the thing is, it's a great question. I had a client, I asked this question on the live stream recently, and the truth of the matter about Ukrainian women is that, and about the society, is that it's not a social hierarchical pecking order society as much as the West is. What I mean is, in the West, you don't too often find a doctor marrying a truck driver, for example, in the West, right? Yeah, but there, for example, William, who I just used that as an example, William's in his mid-50s. He married Lilia. Lilia is a rocket engineer. Her dream is to get a job at NASA, and he's a truck driver. Well, she has a PhD in, and she's extremely bright. I mean, we've sat down with her and my wife. She's really intelligent, and they get on well. It's so Ukrainian women, and just culturally in general, they don't bias or diss you because you're not as educated as them. It's not important to them. Your financial wealth and your education, it's not as important as it is in the West. It's who you are as a person that matters more to them. So if you want a highly educated woman, it's easier to attain in Ukraine, is what I'm saying as well.
Right.
Yeah.
What else is it? The people of different cultures and races, I guess, is one of the many things that on this channel people would ask. So how about that?
Yeah, that's the part where you make me uncomfortable now. I mean,
No.
Yeah,
Reality.
Yeah. Hey, I promised no taboo, and I promised to be honest with you, right? Because I never feel sugarcoating anything does anybody any service,
Right.
Just the straight honest truth, whether sometimes easy to deliver this message, sometimes not. So unfortunately, I have to inform you that Ukraine, because you got to imagine, till 1991, there was only Russian people. Yeah, there was white people, and that's it. White Russians, right? That's it. So this ethnical blend of people, this has been 30 years. So it's a new country in terms of melting pot. Canada, for example, has been a melting pot since day one, right? We've had all race, colors, and creeds. So there's very little prejudice in Canada. I have black friends, I have Chinese friends, I have Indian friends. I mean, from Canada, right? From living there for my first 50 years. But in Ukraine,
It's that Native
Yeah,
American thing that might
yeah,
happen.
yeah. There's racial prejudice for all races in Ukraine. Now, that doesn't mean you can't find a lady that is into you, whatever your particular race, right? But
Right,
it does mean it's more challenging.
right. Because I when I was looking at their culture thing, like the Donbas region and Mariupol, Mariupol had that group that was I was like uncomfortable with. But between those two areas, I felt that that was going to be the hardest thing for anybody of a different race. So that's where I was thinking. Um, but those aren't the people that probably ran away, or they did. That's not exactly like that. Um, but what is it? Okay, what other type of hobbies that they frown on mostly?
Uh, they're very against drugs. Yeah,
Oh no.
smoking weed, even any drugs. I mean, you know, the irony was living in Ukraine. Foreigners used to say to me, like, I've been living since 2016 in Ukraine, and
Right,
technically the country's been under war, right, with Russia
right,
since
right.
2000, since Maidan 12. So people say, is it safe? Is Ukraine safe? I can tell you, there's no city or street in the entire country where I can't walk at 3, 4 a.m. Now, can you say that about America?
Nah, nah.
Right? And it's very safe. There's very little drugs. There's very few weapons. There's no guns. I mean, you're not allowed to own a gun in
Right.
Ukraine. Kind of like Canada, very strict anti-gun laws. So it's very safe. That was your question, right?
Yes, yes. To a degree, yeah. What else is it? I know there's one more thing. Oh no, not that. Also, like personal hobbies, like things that people do for fun or anything to while they're away their time
No, I can't think of any hobbies that would be, like that they're against.
with. Right.
There tends to not be, because really the country, people are lower income. It's a lower income country, right?
Right.
So you don't find okay, 80% of Ukraine. Okay, I'll say 60% of Ukraine is the working poor.
Right.
Okay, 20% would be the middle income.
Right.
Yeah, that's 80. And then there'll be a top 20 cream on the top, which is corruption. The richest people in Ukraine are the corrupt people.
Right.
Yeah. So
America.
it's your politicians. All politicians are corrupt in Ukraine.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm talking 98%. Okay?
yeah.
So I
Dude,
mean,
they'll be comfortable in the U.S. Real comfortable. Go on ahead, play that signal, man.
yeah, you got some sound effects there, right, Lopez?
Yes, he does.
So my point was that because most people are the working poor, it's not like we don't go to Vail skiing for the weekend, So you find that there's not a lot of hobbies. I mean, a lot of people never ridden a horse, never been skiing, never traveled. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things people haven't done. So hobbies are kind of like drinking vodka. No, hobbies is social. They're more social.
Right. Yeah, because I think I've seen a couple of videos where some guys were doing some kind of experience with rocketry and stuff like that, or other things. Yeah, so I kind of get the mentality sometimes that they can deal with. What else is it? Oh yeah, heightism. Guys being short or tall or whatever. Too tall or too short. What about that?
It's pretty much the same of most women in the world, because women need to feel safe and secure. It's the number one or number two need of women everywhere in the world. So the height thing, it's this subconscious thing that if he's shorter than me, I don't feel he can protect me. Whether it's true or not, it's a Neanderthal brain, it's an amygdala brain response. So So women worldwide want the men at least their height or taller. That's universal. Same in Ukraine.
Right. What else is it? I don't know if I have anything else.
Well, that's a lot of good questions. You've had a lot of good questions there.
Have the ones in the U.S. Changed dramatically or anything like that? It's that might be single, that in their purpose or the way they are have changed.
So your question is, when Ukrainian women come to America, get married, and come to America with their husband, with their American husband, do they change?
Or even single here?
It's kind of a loaded gun question. I mean,
right.
I think overall,
I thought so.
Overall, yes, because their environment radically changed, right? It's different language, different people, different way of life, different social values, you know. But this is an interesting point. I tell you something shocked me about 2 months ago. My wife does personal development training a lot, and one of the ladies in the class, she found out she's living in Pompano Beach, Florida. Okay,
right.
And so she's been there for 6 months, and guess what? She says, "Oh, can I join your database? I can't find a good man." And we're like, "What? But you're living in Florida for 6 months." And she's like, and she's a very, very beautiful woman. I mean,
yeah.
Yes, are you tracking with me? And she's 35, never married, no children, so very high SMV and very good person, you know. My wife had talked with her quite a bit. And she said, so she joined our database. She says, you know, the men here, they want to get in my pants. That's it. But you see, she's a traditional Ukrainian woman. She doesn't want that. She wants a family. She wants to settle down and start a family. But again, America, the West has become such a hookup culture, right?
Right. But then if you're a male and you don't try to act like that, then they think that they don't, you know, they won't be interested or anything like that. That's normal.
I didn't follow you. Say again?
That in America, if you don't do that or act that way, that they won't be interested in you because other women aren't interested in you or you're too passive for them. That's the way it is in the United States right now. I mean, which is odd because, you know, every camera's on you. You can't even act. I mean, you can't even beat somebody up without losing your job. So people don't put 2 and 2 together, you know. It's very. They're looking for strength here, but in a passive society that forces you to be passive, even though you're not, and even though you want to express that, you cannot. But I guess what I'm saying is that coming from another culture where this culture is looking for that, how do they handle that?
Well, you know, sorry, what's your name? Your first name?
Oh, it's Michael.
Mike. Hi, Mike. I'm Joe. Good to meet you. I always feel awkward when I don't know your name. So, Mike, I think what you're hitting on is really this, how the cultures are so different. And believe me, they are radically different. I keep saying like Mars and Earth. So, for example, I think the best way to answer your question, I'll paint the picture of what a Ukrainian woman wants from a man, and let's say a first date, okay?
Right.
And you tell me how many points it's radically different. First point, she doesn't want you to ask her, where do you want to go eat? She wants you to tell her and lead the way.
Right.
Lead the way. She doesn't, where are we going? Oh, you're going over here? Yep, we're going over here for dinner. Okay, right. One. Little different with the American one, yeah? Point two. If you don't present her with flowers on the first date, it's not only disrespectful, you're really telling her, I'm not so into you. I'm not really into you.
That's definitely opposite of America.
Okay, that's point two. Point three, of course you pay for dinner. I mean, if you didn't pay for dinner, I mean, there's no such thing as Dutch in Ukraine.
Right,
It's again, it's the role, the traditional roles. Of course, I mean, of course, the man pays for dinner. He's the breadwinner.
Right.
Number three, are you going to go for a kiss on the first date? She'll slap your face, brother.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's none of that. She's traditional, right? You got to earn. You got to earn it. Okay. And then, how is she getting home? How is she getting? If you don't put her in an Uber to send her home, you're basically you're telling her subconsciously. She's like, she gets that I can't rely on this man. He's not protecting me. He doesn't want to protect me. He doesn't care about me. And it's a huge demerit for you. So you see what I mean? Just on that date, how radically different it is.
Right. No, I understand. I know I want to ask you something else, but what if you don't want to live in that same country? Like, say, for instance, you're from the United States, but you want to move somewhere else that's cheaper. Would she have a problem with that?
No, it's a great question. This is happening a lot now because there's Ukrainian women. Again, 80% of our database is scattered all over Europe, mostly Eastern Europe. And then 20% is still in Ukraine.
Right.
And just so you know about Ukraine right now, 12 million people fled Ukraine when the war started within the first month.
Damn.
7 have come home. 7 million have returned home, even though the war is raging on. So a lot of people still in Ukraine. There's a number of reasons for that. But Ukrainian women prefer to live in Europe. If they had a choice, living in Europe because it's closer to home, right? Or living in America.
Right.
They don't want America, honestly. I mean, it's not a plus for them that to go move to the land of the free, a home of the brave. No.
I keep telling people nobody wants to come here and possibly get shot up. That's not a bonus. That's a hardship tour. Here, you take that passport back. I'm done.
Yeah. And if I can add, our family, we're traveling nomads. We work online. We have staff still in Kyiv, Ukraine. We do matchmaking, and we do it online. We're nomads. So my family travels, and we love that. And there's a lot more people in the world that are going, okay, for example, in Canada, I paid 50% income tax for my first 50 years, right? Now I pay 5% in Ukraine legally, 5% income tax.
Right.
So there's a lot of advantages for living in other countries that America doesn't have, or Canada doesn't have, or the West doesn't have. So there's a lot of reasons to start a life abroad, become a nomad. And Ukrainians, they're open to that. I mean, the other beautiful thing about Ukrainian women is that they stand by their man, through thick and thin. And if you're, let's say, an army boy, or you're a longshoreman, or you work in offshore rigs, or you got some job that you're away working for 2 months or more, and then back, you don't have to worry about her fooling around on you or dissing you because you're not home to take care of stuff. No, you're bringing home the bacon. That's your job. She supports you.
Right.
Traditional. Again, if anybody listening to this really wants traditional, the way it used to be with your parents or your grandparents, Ukraine is the lost world where it's still abundant.
Right.
That's the way.
Like, say for instance, some people would like to move. Like, I would be interested in moving to Colombia. Still, it's cheap, and you can build a business, build a house, and you can own it, not have it percentaged over to someone else. Whereas, but still have some crime. Whereas in, like, say for instance, Thailand is more of a what do you call that? Structural. What's the proper word? Developed more. And there's places you can live that are very comfortable, very cheap, overall. But you'd be saving enough money to be able to travel anywhere, at a drop of a hat. So say for instance, $600 a month for rent, and per person, it would be like 200 or 300 for I would say basically about 1,000 a month to 1,500 a month. You take care of each other, and then the person that's supplying the money, the guy that's a breadwinner, can save up to like, I don't know, 30,000 a year or more. So that way, tickets to anywhere at any time, as an emergency. So you don't feel like you're unsafe or that you can't get to your family. Whereas in the United States, I mean, you're burning through everything every month. You can't even save anything, which is nonsense. So what about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir. Like I was saying, there's a lot of places. If a person really wants to look at alternative places to live, a better life for cheaper, you just invest some time, and you'll come up with dozens of places where you can live at a fraction of the cost, like a quarter, like 75% less cost of living.
Yeah.
And it's better this, better that, better healthcare, believe it or not, better education, less taxes, happy people, good people. There's many countries and places to live. So, I mean, I can recommend you a guy on YouTube called Andrew Henderson on this topic. He's the owner of Nomad Capital. I don't get paid anything, but he's the best.
Oh, yeah.
I want to look at places. Yeah, you know him, Lopez?
Yeah.
He's the best at looking at different places and the pros and cons.
Oh, yeah. What else is it? Well, I see Rolicon has a question there.
Yeah, do you see?
Very interesting.
Do you see people leave the U.S. and move to the Ukraine or Russia?
Well, not now.
Yeah, Ukraine had about 60,000 expats living in the country before the war. I don't know about now, but yeah, I know expats that have gone back to Kyiv to live. They own there, and they've gone back. I think it's a little wingy, right, myself, but hey.
Yeah. Shoot, I mean, they're blowing up everything. I mean, historical things, and you're saying you're trying to save the place. Save what? All of it's gone. Historical buildings, historical landmarks, statues, whatever. Art. What have you saved? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be out there. But yeah. That is an interesting question, especially since everything is really rough there and Russia's going through a financial issue right now. And there's Ukrainians living over there in Russia as well.
Yeah.
How would that go over, to be able to even move over into something like that?
I don't know. I wouldn't do
it. I wouldn't either. Yeah. I guess the final thing is I guess someone moving to Poland or anything like that. I don't know if you're there or anything like that. Is that because I don't know if you're there or not? Because are you in the general area? Are you back in Canada?
No.
We live in Cancun, Mexico, since the war broke out.
Damn.
The good life.
Yeah. How much is that out there?
Countries like, you can live very well in Mexico for the same cost base as Ukraine, Colombia, Venezuela. You can live in Thailand. You can live in Vietnam. These are all countries that are in the same cost of living, give or take. But the website numbeo.com. That's the best place to check out cost of living.
Right.
It's got billions of people have entered the cost of everything you can imagine for that city and that country. So you can get a perfect comparison of cost of living at numbeo.com.
Right. Yeah. You got me thinking about Cancun now.
Yeah.
But I guess there's not much more.
Yeah, you had some good questions, man.
Yeah,
very good
I'm
questions.
trying to pull them out.
Very good.
But
What are you on? Are you streaming right now on what platform are you on?
I'm on Google right now. The StreamYard, I think, is what he's
Oh,
got up. That's what I'm on right
okay, okay.
now.
So how does it work, Lopez? Do we have questions on Facebook or YouTube or
Yeah, they all come through.
you seeing other questions or
Yeah, it doesn't matter the platform, I can still see them pop up.
do you want to put up some more questions maybe or
Oh, that's about it.
okay, no questions. Mhm, mhm.
About it, yeah.
How many viewers? How many viewers are live now?
It's not accurate. You really don't know. I really don't know. Really, it goes up
Right,
and down.
right. I've seen it. Then later on, it says it's a different number,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I don't really know, man. It's not that
right,
accurate.
right.
Okay, okay.
But no, I think you've answered. Wait a minute. That's the final
One
question.
more.
The type of music they might like.
Oh,
Type
that's
of music?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is important.
Um,
Highly, highly important.
I think every type of music. It's a personal thing. I
Right,
think
right.
my wife is a singer songwriter,
Huh?
so
So am I.
she likes
So,
deep house. That's her. She mostly sings in deep house.
oh, okay. That's not bad. Not bad. I'm gonna have to check that out. So
She
that's popular over there.
her name is Anna Seven. You can find her songs online. Anna
Okay.
Seven.
Is she on YouTube?
SEVEN.
I mean, not YouTube, but Spotify.
She's on Spotify. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
wherever you can buy music online, you can find
yeah,
Anna Seven.
yeah.
Anna Seven. Yeah.
I'll pick that up and check it out. I
Cool,
will go
cool.
there and check
Well,
it
thanks
out.
for all your questions. Yeah, it was really great. And again, if anybody wants to is curious about, could I possibly win myself a beautiful traditional Ukrainian wife? Well, you
Right.
can come to matchguarantee spelled with a y.com and we offer you a complimentary matchmaking consult, which includes choosing 10 ladies from our website. And you get to
Yeah.
have a Skype video or Zoom video call, including a translator with one, and we answer all your questions. And that only costs you donation of your choice to a Ukraine charity.
Mhm.
And that's it. You're on your way. You'll get your questions answered.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
Mike.
thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome. Pleasure talking to you,
Peace.
man. Yeah.
There you have it.
There we have it. Okay. So we'll say goodbye to everybody for now then.
Yep. Like,
Yeah.
share the video. Don't forget to check out the website. Until next time, we out. Peace.